And we are live. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Real Spill Wednesdays on the Truth Comes to Light podcast. I am your host, Jay Colvin, and welcome to Real Spill Wednesdays. For those of y'all that are new, on Real Spill Wednesdays, we talk about life topics and motivational quotes. Please be sure to check out my previous Real Spill episodes on the channel. And also be sure to tune into my newest podcast. I had a good time recording that podcast episode for y'all. And please be sure to check out my previous podcast episodes on the channel. We done made it over 100 videos, like I said in my last Real Spill, and I'm going to say it in my podcast, the next one that I do make. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all that have tuned in to my channel. Each and every one of y'all. Y'all have subscribed, y'all have liked, y'all have watched the video, commented, did everything that y'all possibly can to support the channel. Let's keep on supporting the channel. So keep on liking the videos, commenting, subscribing to the channel, turning on post notifications so you get the latest updates on when I post a real spill or a full podcast episode. Also, be sure to follow my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Truth Comes to Light podcast, because on those platforms I may post something, and who knows, one of those things that I do talk about is like a foreshadow on what my next podcast episode could be about. So if you want to interact with me on those social media platforms and get a little bit of a foreshadow on what I will talk about in the next podcast episode, please be sure to follow them. I'm going to leave all of those links down in the description. And with that in mind, let's get straight into this real spill. Now, ever since the Roe versus Wade situation that had happened, people from all over the world have had controversies on abortions and should it be legal. In my state of Texas, abortions are illegal. You cannot get any abortion. You can't even go to no other state and get an abortion. Like, I feel like that is honestly just crazy to me, because not only with this law, but the other law that I had talked about in one of my podcast episodes, they have gender affirming laws to where basically you can't change the way that you look until you turn 18. So if you want to make that transition, whether that's to a male or a female, you can not do it when you are. Mind you have to wait till you're 18. So it's kind of like Texas is kind of withholding like things that people can do for themselves and for their bodies. So back to the abortions law, it rose so much controversy. There was a rise, and obviously, Plan Bs and all of that stuff. And here's my thing on it. If you do have sex with that person, right? Obviously, I would personally say wear condoms, right? That's the best way in order to prevent safe sex. But us as dudes, we're going to have that mind, like, if we don't have the rubbers, we just going to be like, you know what, F it. Because when you do have sex, in the whole dopamine system, it like cuts off. Like, I saw it in one of these videos. It's a ASAP Science video, and it basically cuts off like your like processes of thinking. So some of the things that you would normally want to do, you don't do. Same with like when you get high or whatever, or when you get drunk, like your mind, part of it is kind of cut off. So you're doing things that you normally wouldn't do if you're not high, or you basically not if you're sober. So with that in mind, we'll just think, what, F it, and just, have sex with that person and hopefully pull out before we end up, you know what I'm saying, ejaculating and causing that pregnancy. So with that in mind, with the whole abortion thing, let's say that the person ends up getting pregnant, right? I feel as though they should make that decision in order to have the baby or not, because you have young teens that obviously they don't want to get pregnant at 15, 16, 17, 18, or even younger, 12, 13, because that's, when the whole puberty thing starts and everything. Young teens don't want to get pregnant at those young ages. So I feel as though if you're not financially stable enough to support and have a family or just have a kid, one, wear condoms, but two, if you even get to that position, you should be able to make that decision in order to not have the kid and to have abortions. People should be able to make that decision for themselves It shouldn't have to come from the state saying, oh, you cannot make that decision. You can't have that abortion. Now, I'm not saying just like, I'm not supporting killing the baby, but if you aren't in a right financial standpoint, then for your sake and for the other person's sake, you don't want to have that baby. But with that in mind, if that does happen and you can't have the abortion or whatever, always take care of your kid. You don't want to normalize co-parenting and have the whole co-parenting thing going on. You always want to just come and support your kid together, male and female. But if you have that choice with the whole abortion thing, I would say make it. If you're this young teen who is still in high school or have these things going on with you to where you're not making no money, because with us teens, you're not going to be making that much money. Part-time, 9 times out of 10, it's hard for you to find a full-time job. Or if you're even below the age to where you can't even get a job, how are you going to support your kid? So it's like things that you have to think about in regards to making that decision to have an abortion, but it's also the things that you have to make in regards to not even putting yourself in that position. So wear the rubber, strap up. I don't personally recommend you going in raw. You feel what I'm saying? But if you do decide to make that decision, all of that has a risk to it. It has a price. It could be a good income and that person don't end up getting pregnant or whatever, whether that's you get a plan B, you pull out in time or whatever, or it can have a negative impact. That person gets pregnant. They miss their period and then they get pregnant. So now you're just sitting panicking. But the state shouldn't make that decision on whether you can keep that kid or not. I feel like it should all be in regards to the relationship, how the relationship is going. If you feel as though this is the person that you want to be with and you can have a baby and you can financially support the baby, then boom, have a baby together. 100% have a baby together, because you don't want to be that type of person to feel as though you have to rely on other people to take care of your kid. Because I know I wouldn't want to be that type of parent to where I gotta always give it to somebody, a family member or just anybody in order for me to go do something or just whatever. Like, I want to be able to support my kid and do everything for myself versus having to rely on somebody. And that's just always been me personally. I'm the type to do things for myself versus having to rely on people. The only person that you should rely on is the person that you're having that kid with, if you do decide to have that kid. But I feel like abortion should be legal because you have these situations like that. You have situations on when females get raped. They get kidnapped, they get raped, and they get trapped with these abusers for so many years. And all of these bad things just happen, and they got to have the baby because it's illegal to do in some states. And that's so messed up for these young teens. Not even just with them, but with older women, because I feel as though no matter how strong a woman is, a man will always be stronger. So females are always at risk at any point in time, no matter how old you are. You can easily get kidnapped by a dude. They can easily rape you. They can easily do all of these things. And if they end up raping you and you have a kid, you got to keep the kid. And I feel like that's so messed up for females. That's number one. And then number two, especially when you're younger, you're not going to have the financial stability to support a kid. You're just not. That's the reality of it. It's rare. And if you and your partner isn't financially stable, then there ain't no point in having no kid. But on the flip side, you do got to wear protection, though. The dude has to wear protection. Do whatever you can possible to not have that happen. But if it does happen, for that, you should be able to have abortions. If you get abused by your abuser, you should be able to have abortions if you get raped at any point in time. Because you can easily get taken advantage of. Or someone could simply just tell you they're going to be here for the baby. They're going to support the baby. They're going to stay when the baby comes out. The baby comes out. And now you don't have that person. That person's nowhere to be found. And they're just simply just gone. And now you're raising a kid. You're just that single parent raising a kid. But if y'all had the true honest conversation and the person was honest and was like, hey, I don't want to have a baby right now, it should be that decision from within to let's have an abortion versus the state having to make that opinion for y'all relationship that y'all gotta have the kid. Y'all had unprotected sex, so y'all gotta have the kid. I thought we wasn't supposed to have all these people in the world. They're trying to grow the population even more, but I thought the world is overpopulated. But they're making these laws to where they want more people to come in the world, which I don't have a problem with, but there's some family members, some people that will have a problem if they don't have the money to raise their kid the right way. Like I said, you got abusers out here that'll rape females, take them, rape them for years, and they have to have the baby because it's illegal in some states. Because no matter how strong a woman is, women will always think that they're stronger, but a man will always be stronger. And that's 100% true. You can't escape no man. They can come and just rape you at any point in time. They can kidnap you at any point in time, no matter how old you are. You can be a little kid or you can be 30, 40 years old. You can be in the gym all you want, but you got to have that male protector, I feel as though, because a man will always be stronger. So with that in mind, females, you just got to watch out. And if this is the person that you do want to deal with, make sure that it is, because when that situation does come up and y'all can't have a baby, or y'all do have a baby, you got to make sure that that person is still going to be around when it does come out. Or have that conversation that he doesn't want to have a baby, you don't want to have a baby, y'all both agree on it, and then y'all have the abortion. Or if you do get raped, you can get the abortion because it's legal. And I feel as though abortions should be legal. Birth controls work, but I wouldn't use that as an abortion because there's times that it will not work. But if this is the person that you truly do want to mess with, make sure that it is before you end up having unprotected sex. And if everything goes bad, I feel as though it should still be legal for abortions to happen in all states. I'm pro-abortion because of that, and the fact that females can get raped at any point in time. Because you got some creepy people out here. You got some creepy men out here that'll prey on little girls, that'll prey on girls, period. They can come, rape you, do whatever, and you got to have all of these kids. Think about that. But they're not thinking about that. By them, I'm talking about the state. They're not thinking about that. So on the other end of that, you got to have all of these kids by this person who for sure doesn't care about them. But since you can't make that decision, you don't have no choice, they just got to come. And all you can do is just raise them to the best of your ability, if you can, you know. That's all you can do. Just raise your kids to the best of the ability if you can't get the abortion. Because whether you get raped and you're in a state that doesn't have abortions legal, or if you're with that person, boyfriend, or whatever, and they just leave on you, or they don't say that they don't want a kid, and now you have to go through the whole thing even though you don't want it. It's just a whole lot of things. So I feel as though people should make decisions on their own whether or not to have abortions or not, because there's so many negative situations that could potentially happen in which now they have to have the kid because of the simple fact abuse, rape, the person doesn't want to have a kid. But always keep in mind on the person that you do mess with and the person that you do have sex with, if you can. Because a whole lot of things could go south. But abortion should be legal if it does go south or the worst way. But that is the end of this Real Spill Wednesday episode. I really hope that y'all enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, comment, turn on post notifications so you get the latest update on when I post a Real Spill Wednesday or a podcast episode. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Truth Comes to Light Podcast. And yeah, with that in mind, I love y'all, and y'all have a nice rest of y'all night.